All right, y'all. Welcome back to Dev Spot Podcast. I know it's been a minute since I dropped the episode, but we back. We talking hoop. We trying to get back going to a regular. I had some other stuff going on with my flag football event and things like that. So, but I'm back doing podcasts. Today is a good day to get going. The Heat finally made a move. We finally got a point guard, y'all. I've been wanting one for 2 years. Now we finally here. We got Terry Rosier today, and all we have to do is give up Lowry in the first. That's an A+ trade for me. When you look at the Heat team, we got the coaching. We got the rim protection. We got a wing that get buckets when the playoffs come. We got shooting. The only thing we was missing was that PG, that reliable point guard. And listen, I know they say today you don't need a point guard in NBA, blah, blah, blah. The wings bring the ball up. That's all cool. They might not be the same traditional bring the ball up every play, but a point guard position is still super important when you think about just controlling the tempo, controlling the pace of the game. When another team going on a run, understanding how to slow it down or maybe speed it up when need be, like just understanding the ebbs and flows of the game and knowing sometimes when it's like, okay, let's get into a play, let's slow it down. This person needs the ball right here. It's been 3 plays since our best player got the ball. Let's get him the ball. Like, it's just certain things a point guard know that you need one on your team, whether or not they're bringing up the ball or whatever. So now us having a point guard and a scoring point guard that can shoot is beautiful to me. When I look at, I know we could have got DeJounte. They was talking about that, but DeJounte, he's shooting good this year, but he's not really necessarily a really good shooter. So, like, I think Terry Rozier brings the ability to score just as much with the ability to shoot a little bit better. And I think it's just more of a fit. Like, I feel like Terry Rozier fit like our culture. I feel like he's a dog. Like, I just feel like it all come together perfectly. And we didn't have to give up as much. And he makes less money. So it's like it's all a win. Plus, I don't know if y'all interested in this, but we also saved some money by getting rid of Lowry, bringing in Rosier. So it was a win in all facets. When you look at our team now, I really feel like we are a tier 1 East team now. I think we could compete with the Celtics or the Bucks in any given series. The Bucks just fired their coach. We'll talk about that in a second. But listen, when you think about it, so in the lineup, I think in a series against Boston, we would either go Rosier, Hero, Jimmy, Highsmith, Bam. I say Highsmith because if you look at the numbers, Highsmith is one of the best defensive players when it comes to guarding Tatum, and that would help us match up perfectly. When you got Rosier versus Drew, you got Hero versus White, Jaylen Brown versus Jimmy, Highsmith versus Tatum, and then KP versus Bam. We'd match up with them good. We'd be able to get some scoring from our backcourt. We good to go. But then when it comes to, like, let's say the Bucks, who are a much bigger team, they come in with 2 7-footers. I think, and I know he older and things like that, but I think K-Love in that particular series should get the start. He still only can play about 15, 20 minutes, 15, 18 minutes a game. But for him to start the game, start the third quarter, help us out with rebounding, making sure we're not getting abused on the glass by Brook Lopez and Giannis, I think them is the keys. But when you look at that, so coming off the bench, you still got Jaime, who is the third best rookie. You got whichever one that don't start out of Highsmith and him. Then you got Josh Richardson. Even though Josh Richardson haven't been playing that well, we just need him to give us a little bit. Like, just give us something. Then you got, obviously, Jovic, and you got Thomas Bryant to just fill out the roster. But we know Spo is going to an 8 or 9 man rotation once the playoffs come. So all of that don't really matter. Thomas Bryant just need to give us about 5 to 8, 9 minutes. Once the playoffs come, we'll be good to go. I do think that we could make a trade for a 4 and really take our chances up here. But right now, I think Highsmith and K-Love, one of them two, once the playoffs come, like, they're going to play around with it during the regular season. Jovic has been starting. He's going to continue to get some starts probably. Caleb Martin, they're going to see how he look in there with the starting lineup. They're going to play around with that 5th starter. And unless they make a trade and it's like a solidified guy, they're going to play around with it all season. But I think once we get down to them series, the ones that actually matter, I think those are the lineup that would best fit us to go along with it. Yes, we're better than Philly. Yes, we could beat the Bucks, and yes, we could beat Boston. But let's talk. What should we do first? Embiid 70, the Bucks fired their coach. Embiid 70, the Bucks fired their coach. Let's go with Embiid in the 7. Let's talk good before we come to the. You feel me? So 70 points from Embiid on the anniversary of Kobe 81-point game. That's amazing. Embiid, hey, listen. As long as he meet the requirement for the total games, it's his MVP. That's cool. Luka, I was rooting for Luka to get it. His numbers is great. They're not gonna have enough wins. Their team's just not good enough to meet the requirements. I think he gonna finish somewhere. best case right now, the way, unless they can make a trade, which I say what trade they need to make in a minute, but right now, best case would be fifth. More realistically, like six, possibly playing with the way they team, so he's not going to be good enough to get there. I think it's going to come down between like Embiid and Shea, but Embiid probably running away with it right now after that. The thing with Embiid is, I know everybody be like, "Oh, Dev, you hard on Embiid." Like, I get a lot of flack about it in my DMs because I don't think Embiid is a top 5 player right now, and it's not because obviously when we talking skill set, we talking, he might be the most skilled player in the whole NBA as far as just all he can do with his size, his touch. It's no denying that. Plus, he played defense. He a great rebounder. He doesn't have a weakness in his game. But when you're a 10-year vet and you haven't made it past the second round, and you've had great team after great team after good team after good team, and you've had series where you should have won, and you've consistently not shown up in big games, I cannot say you're a top 5 player. It's too much talent. Like, we're cutting hairs now between, like, I got Tatum over Embiid. You could look at Tatum game and say it ain't too many weaknesses in his game neither. But he might not be as talented as Embiid, but there isn't many weaknesses there either, to where it's like, oh, okay, well, ain't no way Tatum could go over Embiid. Why not? He constantly beating Embiid. He constantly show up. And Tatum have his moments where it's like he kind of like my boy Bear always say, a mental midget, but he has shown up in moments. He has signature playoff moments, and he's only in year, I think this is 7th year now. Embiid been in the league 3-4 years longer and he'll have no moments. He's the only player that I would consider a top 10 player that hasn't been to the conference finals in the East or the West. Like, come on, man. All I'm asking is for one run. I ain't even asking him to get to the finals. I'm just saying, can he get a conference finals run in him? He just lost to the Celtics up 3-2. James Harden gave him 2 40-point games with game winners. If your second option giving you 2 games, basically 2 wins, you can't go close it out in a game 6 up 3-2 at the crib. You the best player in the world, is what they telling me? No. Then that same team go and lose the next series to Jimmy, who was once on your team. Jimmy was on the team with Embiid. They couldn't get out the second round. He left Jimmy to go play with Bam, and now he'd have been to 2 finals and 3 conference championships in that time since he's been gone. So all I'm saying, you cannot, we got to, if winning is important, then we got to make it important for everybody. If we don't care about winning, then okay, then let me know. But if winning matter, you cannot be top 5. I don't care if you go for 70. I don't care. He do this every year. He put up big numbers. He was doing this last year. He won MVP. He was scoring champ, all the shit. Like, there's no difference. What are we, like, he got to show me something in the offs. But as far as what he's doing right now in the regular season, this is probably one of the most, like, as far aside from what Wilt did, this is probably the best season of any 7-footer in the history of the game of basketball, for sure, outside of the numbers Wilt was putting up. So exclude Wilt, this is the best season from a 7-footer. So I won't take that away from him, but to get put in that top 5, he got to give me something in offs. And I don't know, like, I need him to show up big. He can't keep getting shut down by Al Horford. And then he come and give somebody 60, 70, 55, and y'all be like, oh, wait, never mind. It don't matter what happened last year in the playoffs. Yes, it do. Because he got the team to do it. He got players. He got to get it done. That's my last time speaking on the Embiid thing. He just got to get it done. But great season so far. Now let's get into these Buckaroonies getting rid of their coach. That came out of nowhere. But now that I'm reading reports, it's saying Dame wasn't liking the offense. It was hard for him to fit in, and Griffin wasn't doing a good enough job making adjustments to fit with Dame. And they said him and Giannis wasn't getting along. Listen, on the day that he get better, the Bucks are going through all of this turmoil. Boy, gotta love it. So when I look at it, obviously we knew it was going to take time to adjust with Dame getting there, but I also think it's kind of unfair because Middleton's still working his way through. Like, he isn't fully back. This month, I think he's averaging, I think it was 15, but he got one game where he only had 2 points and a blowout where he only played like 20 minutes, and another game where he only had 5. If you take them away, he's averaging close to like 18, 19 points this month. So he kind of getting back into a rhythm. He kind of being able to play a little bit more minutes. I felt like they should let us see like what that looked like when he was able to play 35 minutes a game and back and see if he could get back to his stuff. But I guess it was really just that bad. So with we midway through the season and they looking for a new coach, and now they saying they bringing in Doc Rivers. Oh my God. If they bring in Doc Rivers, I will be almost happier than I am right now that we just got Terry Rosier. Doc Rivers ain't beating Eric Spoelstra and shit. Not no playoff series. So if they go get him, all bets is off on the Bucks, man. We back to Miami, Boston for the fourth time because Doc Rivers can't handle that. Doc Rivers is not going to be able to manage those situations. He's not going to be able to on the fly learn them well enough. He don't make enough in-game adjustments or game-to-game adjustments to be able to jump in and fly. He needs to be there for the training camp and the whole thing to get a feel for the guys, get some older guys in there. I don't see that being a good fit at all. And I think that takes them down. Like, I don't think they're going to, obviously, like, they still have Giannis and Dame, so they're going to win enough games. They probably still going to finish second, maybe third, if anything. But once the playoffs come, oh, it's ugly. Oh, it's ugly. Like, I don't see that working out for them. I don't really like their depth. They still don't got wings. Like, I mean, you go get Dame, so that was a great piece. That was the move you had to make. Obviously, we wanted Dame too, so you had to do that. But they still don't have wings. So it's like when you look at a Boston, they do give them problems because they best players are they wing players. I still think that like the Dame Giannis combination would be a lot for Boston, but they ain't gonna have no chemistry and they ain't gonna be able to get it rolling quick enough. It's hard to see it's hard for them to be in the mix. Obviously, you got Boston that's rolling right now. They look really good. It's been a few big games like where I didn't like the way they played and Tatum didn't really show up in a few games, but like they rolling right now. I think them and Philly is two of the lowest, I think bottom 5 in bench scoring. So I think that's going to show a lot once we get to the playoffs. But I think right now, if you look at it, it's Miami and it's the Celtics as the best two teams right now. Obviously, we need to see what Rosier looked like, but I was confident in with us just based off of Bam, Jimmy, Jaime is balling, and we got Spo. Now we got a point guard that's running. I don't see us not being one of the better teams in the East. And then if you look at it, and like I said, not saying that Rosier is on the same level as Dame, but when you look at what we had to give up, only had to give up Lowry and a first, rather than Jaime, Jovic, 3 firsts, Caleb Martin, Duncan Robertson, all of them people would have been in that trade and we would have been sitting here with no debt, but we would have had a big 3. Now we got our guard who been balling, and I pray he continue to do what he's been doing all season for a tenth of the price. Like, I'm feeling great about it. I feel great about our chances. I want to see like how it looked, but I'm ready to go. I would have been happy with DeJounte Murray too, because I think they said that would have came with Clint Capella, so we could have had an extra big to go with Bam, but that would have been more than this too. So he probably had to give up 2 first rounds for DeJounte. I'm happy with it. But speaking of DeJounte, where do DeJounte go? They've been saying the Lakers. Personally, I don't think that's the fit. Like I said, I know he's been shooting, but I think he's shooting like 39% this year. So he actually is shooting really good. I think on 6 attempts. But you know how they say people get to Lakers and don't get to shooting as well. But I can't count on DeJounte to be a consistent shooter like the way D'Lo is. I don't think he's as good as a shooter, but I think he's better in almost every other category. But when you got a LeBron James he continues to say year after year, he's going to continue to take a step back and he's still right there in the mix. He needs shooters. So he needs guards that can get him the ball, get to their spots, know how to make quick decisions. Is he really who you count on to make the shot? And they're already, I think, 21st in 3-point percentage. When you look at all of their shooters, they have none right now. Like, their best shooter, I think, D'Lo is their only shooter in the top 50 in percentages in the whole NBA. And they're finna get rid of him. I think, let me see, I got it written down. Bron is 62nd at 3-point percentage, and you got Taurean Prince 69th. The Lakers have no other players in the top 100 for shooting percentage in the whole NBA. So to trade away your best shooter, which is going to help your defense. It's going to help, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of like not having to switch as much and things like that. Like, is he a good defender? But it can really steal your offense. Your offense already isn't that great. So I don't really see DeJounte being the fit. I don't really know what the Lakers, because I don't really see like it being much out there that they could get that could really like turn their season around. They kind of got to just like kind of lock in internally, I think. I wouldn't probably trade D'Lo. Because it's just like you trade him for DeJounte, you getting yourself into he got a longer contract, you locking yourself into him. So, I mean, you kind of commit to DeJounte and Anthony Davis past LeBron. And I don't know if that's a good pairing because AD still haven't shown he consistently can be the man now. So it's like once LeBron go, you're gonna bring in somebody that you know isn't a number one piece. So it's like you got two kind of like you could try to make it work, but I don't know. I would probably just rock this out, see what LeBron do after the season. I know we got AD, and I would just be trying to build around AD instead of maybe pairing with somebody like a DeJounte where we long-term stuck. And only thing about DeJounte is the more he gets traded, the less his value is gonna be. So whatever you're giving up, you're gonna get less back when you get rid of him. So it's like I wouldn't be giving up the first to get him. I would just rock this out, see what it look like. If Brown want to go play with Bronny somewhere, cool. AD post up for a year or so. We gonna move around. We the Lakers. We gonna make something happen. But I wouldn't be locking myself into money like DeJounte Murray for that particular team. No. Not with your best player being 40 years old or 39 years old or whatever he is. No, wouldn't do it. But the Lakers, they about winning now. They about making moves. LeBron like splashes, so they probably will if they can. But I would probably stick with D'Lo and just see how the season go and see if we could make a late surge to get into it. And you got LeBron, and if AD locked in, you got two of the best 15 players in the world. You always got a shot. That's what I would be doing, just seeing how that go. You know what I mean? Let's see what else we got to talk about today. Oh, let's talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves. Embiid went for 70 and 18 last night, but that was not the only guy. Cat went for 62 last night, but listen, they lost. And he got benched in the fourth for like 3 minutes. Like after I was like 5 minutes down to like 2 minutes. And then the coach bashed him after the game. Ay. The Timberwolves have been rolling this season. They are the number one seed. They've been hooping. Rudy Gobert looking like defensive player of the year. Cat been having a good year. Anthony Edwards took the step that I told y'all he was going to take before the season. Remember, I told y'all that. But I think this is something that could really mess them up. Like when you come out like that and a guy rolling it was a point from the end of the third to the midway through the fourth when they took him out. He was getting clamped and they was starting to figure out what he was trying to do and they was forcing it. But I feel like in a game where y'all playing against somebody where it's like, okay, y'all don't want to see like this is a game y'all should win. Obviously, they only the 9-win Hornets, but it's not that big of a deal to where it's like I would, if I was the coach, be risking messing up the chemistry of the team to make this big statement and make this big example out of Cat after the game. Like, oh, like, yeah, we was hunting for him the shot. Like, we wasn't playing the right basketball, this and that. Like, them is the conversations that I feel like you should have with your team because it's like with the Timberwolves, particularly, the Timberwolves don't have that vet leader. They don't have that guy that's like, when the coach say some crazy shit in the media, now he could come and be like, listen, fellas, like this is what he meant. Like, don't worry about that. I got y'all. Like, they don't have that. Rudy Gobert is older, but he's not a leader. So it's like Cat's not a leader. So it's like there's nobody kind of to keep them locked in. So it's telling with younger guys like, oh man, that's how he feel like. So what if I go off next game? Like how he go? You know what I'm saying? Like that could mess up everything. And they already are kind of just getting by on strictly grit, grind, they hustling, they locking people up. If you notice the games they can keep about 100 or under, they win it. If it get to 120, 125, they can't keep up and score enough to win those games, or they just don't have enough. Like they have to shoot out their mind to where at some point they come back to reality and they can't maintain. They have to figure out something. I don't know what they're gonna do. Like I'm not saying that's enough to fire the coach because it's like you got to give them some time to just see like maybe that was just nobody take it serious. But the day NBA, these guys are sensitive. These guys they make so much money now that you can't really tell them too much. So it's like them publicly embarrassing them in front of the media. I don't see them finishing out good to the end of the month. Like I can see this Timberwolves struggling to finish this month and to start the next month, which could start to raise questions if they start to slide a little bit because it's already kind of like how are they the 1 seed? So it's like if they come back down and now they in the 5th, 6th seed fighting with the Mavs and all the other teams that's down there, then it might be tough because this could be something that could really change their whole season. I'm telling you. Chemistry and camaraderie and togetherness in these teams, it be mattering, especially when you already playing kind of with house money when it's like, we ain't even really as good as we playing right now, but we rolling out like that could fall together, fall apart quick. So they got to really watch that and see like how that go. But I don't know. I'm going to be keeping my eye on the Minnesota Timberwolves throughout the rest of the month and a half to go. And we'll be talking more about that because I was blew back by his press conference and what he was saying, because I'm just like, why would you choose to do that midway through the season as the 1 seed on a random Monday night game? Like, that wasn't, I don't know. To me, that just was not the move. But that's just what I wanted to come here and touch on. Oh, wait, no, 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 no. And we got one more. We got the Clippers. Listen, I know they started on 5 when Harden got there. I know they was looking like this, and Harden said, give me the ball, and everybody made. They got him the ball, and now they are cooking. It's hard to believe in the Clippers, though, because all of the injury concerns with Kawhi and PG. They played almost every game this season, so like that's a great sign. But if they can stay healthy, I'm telling you, they got action. And we say this every year, but every year is true. They just haven't stayed healthy. If they've been healthy, literally, last year they looked like they could beat the Suns when Kawhi was healthy in game 1. 2 years, the couple years before that, they got to the conference finals, but Kawhi got hurt in the second round. Literally, like the last 2 or 3 years, if they were to be healthy since the bubble, I really think they could have went all the way. But it's just his health. So it's like, if they healthy, they might be the toughest. They might be the number one threat to the Nuggets. And I still think the Nuggets is up top because Jokic is insane. Murray show up when he played good teams, so that's a great sign. They got everybody know they roll over there. I still think they're the top dog. But when you look at with Kawhi, at his best, he's still any given day could play like a top 5 player. PG, who understand his role. Harden, who give me the rock, I'm gonna facilitate, and I can still get you a bucket. Rustin bought into his role. You got Powell off the bench. Zubac then bought into his Zubac hooping on the low. He been out, so Plumlee getting more minutes right now. That's gonna help him when he got to get back on the bench. That's they 8 right there. You go 8-9 deep. I think they got action. I swear I do. But I've been thinking that every year they just can't stay healthy. So let's pray them knees hold up and we can really get to see what they look like in the offs. That's what I got for you. Oh, last thing. The Dallas Mavericks got a trade for Andrew Wiggins. They have to go get Andrew Wiggins. I know he's been struggling this season. I know he ain't been looking as good with the Warriors, but with the Mavs, they don't need him to score. The Warriors need him to get buckets because they got a second option that can't score no more. The Mavs don't have a scoring problem. They have a defensive problem. So Andrew Wiggins, come over here, 6'8". You play them, you know what I'm saying? You go guard the Tatums and the JBs and all these other wings that we're going to be guarding, and give Giannis a little bit of action when we play them and stuff like that. We need him over here. I think he will look way better with Dallas than he is looking with the Warriors because he won't be asked to do as much on the offensive end. For Dallas, if he could get them 12 to 15 points, about 12, 15 points a game and play great defense, that would work. Over there, and with the Warriors, he giving them 12 points. That don't look as good because they need 18, 19 to average out with the rest of the people not really scoring as much. Mavericks don't need that. Mavs need somebody that's going to lock in, play defense, and get some boards. And he could do that. He could rebound a little bit, and he could play defense. They need a wing, and it's not really many guys. Obviously, Pascal, that was a long shot anyway, based off the assets they got, but I think they got enough to make an Andrew Wiggins deal work. The Warriors damn near want to give him away at this point, so they got to go make that happen. If they want any shot, they need him and somebody else. Realistically, even maybe a Kuz to have average, have some more scoring. I don't know if they got enough pieces to get him, but we'll see. If they was to get Wiggins and Kuzma, they have some action. If they don't move around, Luka just gonna have to keep putting up buckets, and he gonna have to go and berserk for them to win a series or two because it's just the way they roster built out right now. Their third best player is a rookie. What can we do with that? You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see what this trade deadline looking like. I will be back more. This is my first episode in a minute. We gonna get it all back right together. See y'all later. Peace.